Rivals, the coach and quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. That is Sean Payton with the rolling, and right behind him, Drew Brees. In Tampa, fresh off a shocking home loss to the Falcons.
All right, there's Kurt's cousin right there. You know, ever since he apologized to his receiver,
my cousin.
He's been lighting it up. Kurt, have you ever apologized to anybody? Look at that.
Ho, ho, ho. St. Nick is coming to town. He's coming to Indy. Can he get the Jags back on track?
All of the talk about that quarterback play, this is the man that will stop it all. Because if Deshaun can get him the ball and they get out early, then we're making Lamar use his arms, not his legs.
Can't wait for that game. What a great Week 11 game that is. And then you've got Dak in Detroit to take on the Lions today. Big-time stuff. And there's Ezekiel Elliott out there on the field, coming off a game in which not a single first down chain mover on the ground for him. He has, as you could see, a career low in rushing yards per game this season, but it is still good enough for being sixth in the NFL. Kay Adams and Willie McGinnis are on location for us in Detroit. Kay?
We certainly are, and the question is that enough? And the Cowboys crowd is here as well. Is it enough to expect from the highest paid running back in the league with one of the highest paid offensive lines as well? The Cowboys fans are here in full force because they know, like we do, how pivotal and crucial this game is, this win without Matthew Stafford on the other side for the Lions. But we just saw Zeke warming up. Is he the most important player on the field for the boys today?
Well, he is, and he's out there early because they need to get him going early, and they didn't do that last week. And when Mike Zimmer or any defensive coordinator or defensive-minded coach comes out and says, we're going to stop Zeke, we're going to stop the running game, you got to find different ways to win. And you can't force feed him at the end of the game because everybody knows that's where you're trying to go. So I said that to say that you got to get him going early. You got to have more balance. You can't try to force feed it at the last minute. And Zeke is crucial to this offense and the performance and the production because teams have to account for him. But you got to give it to him and keep it going. You can't just give it to him when everybody knows he's going to get the football.
He should have no problems here running against this Lions defense that has been run on plenty all season long. You do have Amari Cooper there. You have Michael Gallup. You have Ryan LeCobb coming off a 100-yard game a week ago. So there are other options than Zeke. Last week against Minnesota, we have to talk about situational football and decision-making here in this one against the Lions. Don't lose against the Lions when you have New England and the Eagles on the docket. And how did they do that last week? At the end of the game, they kept going to Zeke even though he was ineffective all game long.
Yeah, and their coordinator Moore's taking a lot of heat because they did give Zeke the ball 3 times in a row. And I will say, like I said it before, coordinators will take away Zeke at some point, but you got to go at the hot hand. And it's situational football and it's game plan specific. If Minnesota was going to put all those resources to stop Ezekiel Elliott, that opened up things for Dak. He had almost 400 yards throwing the football, productive, moving the ball down the field. Why get away from that? Stick with it. If a team can't stop something, you got to continue to give it to them until they stop it. So I will say, when you get to a certain point, you can't force feed it, but you also got to know when to use it and when not to.
Use the hot hand. You know how hot my hands are? I have about 19 hand warmers in these mittens over here. Is everybody ready? Yeah, the crowd is going crazy here. A huge game. The Lions welcoming the Cowboys to town. Another big one in Indianapolis, Jacksonville taking on the Colts. And we've got our very own Stacey Dale standing by with Coach Frank Reich. Stacey?
Colts head coach Frank Reich, your quarterback, has returned this week. Jacoby Brissett, I guess what excites you about, his return today?
Everything. I mean, he's the leader of our team. I mean, guys look to him, on the field and off. He's kind of an emotional leader for us, and then he's a playmaker. He brings all those qualities on and off the field that you look for in your quarterback position.
Conversely, you won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. He's back after the 8-game absence. What do you have to eliminate, Coach, from his game to be effective today?
Well, he's a big play quarterback. I mean, he can do it all, but he just has a knack for creating big plays. So I think one of the big keys for us today will be stopping those big plays. We know he likes to throw the ball deep, and he's as good as anybody in the league at it. So that'll be a big challenge for us.
Adam Vinatieri's kicking struggles have been well documented. Brought in some kickers this week. How does that competition give you some encouragement that he'll perform well today?
Adam every week has looked really good in practice, and we've had a few struggles along the way. But honestly, this week in practice has been the best week. He kicks twice a week. I think this week I've seen him kick better than I've ever seen him kick before. So looking for good things today in the game.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You got it.
Well, it was a big-time loss for the Colts last week when they turned to their Michigan State Spartan as their backup, losing to the Miami Dolphins. And you could see it's a big game for those sniffing it. Colts and the Jaguars in that category on the outside, looking in a wide-open AFC race for the wild card and also for a couple of divisions, including the AFC South. The AFC playoff race heating up. Thanksgiving just 11 days away. As you can see, we have some chefs right here. It's time to find out which teams will get a piece of the AFC playoff pie. Now, we have 8 pies, either cooling on top of the oven or still inside the oven baking, representing teams that are in the thick of the AFC wild card race. One at a time, you guys, looking great. We'll pull out the pie of a team you think will be making the playoffs when it all is over, and then come back to the table and explain why. Be careful, though. Pies are very hot. Okay. Steve Mariucci, that's why you've got those oven mitts on your first
I will keep them on.
Okay, what do you got over there?
So AFC.
So you've got the Browns, Colts, and Titans cooling atop the oven.
Yeah.
All right, you're going inside the oven. All right. Hello. Nice point of view.
So I'm looking right in here. I see the Raiders. I'm going to take that cherry pie right here. I think Mayock's doing a heck of a job in Grudes right there.
Oven camp.
Look at that. Right here.
Thanks for closing the oven there, Kurt.
Sorry about that. All right, the Raiders, you know, they're 5-4, Rich. They won their last 2 games against the Lions and the Chargers. They're the hot team, like this cherry pie. But you know what? Derek Carr's having the best season of his career with Gruden's offense, 71% completion, 104 passer rating. But the most important thing, Rich, would you like a bite? Actually, the most important thing, they have a favorable schedule, guys. Right. They only play remaining on their schedule. Only one team with a winning record. And that team is the Chiefs, and they're a half game behind. So, can I keep this pie?
You may. Yes, you may.
All right.
Yes, you may keep the pie.
I get to go next?
Yeah, go.
All right, Kurt, you're up next. You're going in the oven. You're going in the oven.
In the oven. All right. I am
Take
going
it out.
Right.
Thanks for closing the oven.
Yeah, I'll close the oven.
Oh, little buffalo pie.
Yeah.
Little buffalo pie.
Bison is the new quinoa. So, yeah, it's got great protein and all that. And here's the thing is, they were sitting on top because they cooled off a little bit lately, but put them back in the oven. We're heating them back up. And here's the thing. The Buffalo Bills are 1 game ahead of everybody else in the wild card race anyway. So they got 6 wins already. I think this is a race to 10, right? So they've got the Dolphins, they've got the Jets, they got the Broncos. They're going to get those 3 games.
Yes.
I think the key game on the schedule is against Pittsburgh. I think they're going to go to Pittsburgh, and they are going to steal that one, and they are going to get the last playoff spot. Exactly. And they're going to be warming up as they head into the playoffs.
Okay, I don't know if you're going to do what Mooch is doing, which is actually eating the props.
Is this actually a bison pie?
Eating the props.
If it's a bison pie, I'm not sure.
I'm going to let all of you folks at home wonder, is it really hot, or is Steve eating cold pie right now? Okay. I think we all know. I think we all know. All right, Michael. Listen. All right, Michael's reaching in the oven. And there's only 3 more pies left in the oven.
Hey, what a pie right
What do you got over there? What do you got over there?
Okay, right here.
Reaching at the top. Careful, careful.
Oh, come on.
There's a lot of crust coming off of it. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
are you taking
a lot of
crust? Wow.
A lot of crust came off this. Just like a lot of love came off that offense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, Mike Tomlin, he lost a lot. 3 of the best players at their position. And what has he done? All he did was say, okay, no problem. Don't worry about replacing them. Let's set this defense like the old Steel Curtains. And it's so tough right up the middle. You got Hayward, Devin Bush, and that boy Mika Fitzpatrick on the back end. Let me tell you why they will make a run. They're playing Cincinnati, Cleveland, Arizona, and then they'll play Buffalo, and they end with Baltimore, Buffalo the Jets, and they end with Baltimore Rich. Baltimore's going to be rested. This team can easily go 11-5 or 10-6 and get in the playoffs. I didn't mean to put them crumbs on your suit, but I'm promising you this. Mike Tomlin, great job, man. Everybody was calling for your head, and all you did was flip that thing, and you still got your team in the hunt.
I wouldn't use the word flipping with the Steelers after Thursday night. I mean,
Thursday night.
you could just take that and hit you over the head with it.
Yeah.